some of that old ball shit you did. Girls from all around the world, let's do this one for the ladies.
She said, love, she'll talk to me. She fell in love with that dirty mind. Swear love never paid the bill. Got a gun to take if you want to. Love, yeah. Last friends won't rub a man. She fell in love with that dirty mind. So the other when they hate, don't play. Girl, put it in my face. You control what you make. So I love it when they hate, don't play. Girl, put it in my face, yeah. Control what you make.
Pick it up, pick it up. All this money on the floor, gon' get it up. If you don't know who made what, better spit it up. She like a nigga to get it to get rid of them. I hate to be the one to make you work. All that cake out, order what you serve. You too perfect, baby, what you perfect, baby. She said never hurt, keep the money first. I had bigger than Dr. King drink. Me and you to join the dream team. I know they hate you cause you never local. Girl, they barely know that you like doing yoga. Keep it focused, trying to stay low. You don't want money, then tell me what your motive. She throw it at me like it's free. Said it ain't okay to be cheap. Baby, it's your day of the week. You better work it like you're trying to get keys to that new lease, buy that new weed. Yeah, the beep in that Jeep. She independent, I mean, she don't need nothing down there of the week. Put your clock out, smoke. Put her back in the mood, want some more day.
She said, love, she'll talk to me. She done fell in love with that dirty mind. Swear love never paid the bill. Got a gun to take if you want to. Love, yeah. Last friends won't rub a man. She done fell in love with that dirty mind. So the other one, hey.
Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. Woman Wednesday. There's also a What's the Answer Wednesday. Ask you some trivia questions. Tonight, Game 3 NBA Finals. The Cavaliers find themselves once again through 2 games in the NBA Finals at the same point they were last year. They won Game 3 by 30 points and eventually became the first NBA team in league history to come back from a 3-1 deficit to win the finals, as I talked about a little bit earlier. The Warriors have outscored Cleveland by 41 points through 2 games. The big differences have come in the third quarter, outscoring the Cavs by 13 points in Game 1 and 11 on this past Sunday. Kevin Durant, man, last year wasn't in Golden State, so he is obviously the big difference in this team. He has scored 71 points through 2 freaking games. We keep talking about Harrison Barnes because it's very obvious, and what he gave to the team last year and what KD has given to the team this year. So Durant has scored 71 points through the first 2 games. Harrison Barnes scored 65 points total for the entire series last year. And remember, the series went 7 games. So Kevin Durant has already surpassed what Harrison Barnes has done, in 2 games. In comparison to 7 games last year. That's huge. Cavs coach Tyronn Lue said he's sticking with shooting guard J.R. Smith in the starting lineup despite struggling. Smith has scored just 3 points in 2 games on 1 of 6 shooting from the field. How? That right there really bothers me. Like, it seems like that shouldn't happen no matter what the case. You got 2 of the best one-on-one basketball players in the game, in NBA history maybe even, and talking about LeBron James and Kyrie Irving. They can beat their man most of the times, penetrate, and kick out to a wide-open man. J.R. Smith is, he's a little bit better. I'd say he's more athletic than what you'd call a traditional spot-up shooter. But for the most part, that's what J.R. Smith is. He's a spot-up shooter. And you got Kyrie and LeBron on your team, and you've got 3 points in 2 games, 1 of 6 shooting, that's just not going to get it, man. But last year, J.R. Smith was kind of struggling through the first couple of games as well, and then he had 20 points in Game 3. Here's a quote. He says, "I have the same confidence level I've had since I started playing this game," he said. "I feel like I can make any and every shot. I feel like I'm going to play well every time I step on the floor. Obviously, that doesn't happen every time." Man, you really picking some real tough times to go on these quote-unquote slumps. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. LeBron James is averaging a triple-double through 2 games, 28, 13, and 11 assists. balling out of control as normal. Twice during his career, he has led the Cavs back from 0-2 deficits in the playoffs. He did it in 2007 in the Eastern Conference Finals against Detroit, and, of course, he did it last year. The Warriors are 14-0 to start the postseason. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. 14-0. They're the first team to ever do that. Let's stop right there for a second, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. You can call the show at 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. We talked a lot about this, man, but I just like to reiterate stuff, to put emphasis on stuff. I think they're going to do it. I think these ninjas might go through the entire playoffs. I think odds are right now that they will. Even what you've seen the last two games, and we knowing what happened last year, the dominance in these last two games, the dominance throughout these playoffs, I would think Vegas right now, the odds are probably more than 50% that they're going to win tonight, and they're going to win when's the next game? I think Friday. Yeah, why wouldn't they? 14-0 in the playoffs. The Warriors are 2 wins from sweeping all 4 rounds, including the last one against the defending champs. Here's a quote. "We want 15-0, Steve Kerr said. That's what we want. Are we 14-0 right now? We want 15-0. That's what we want. We literally have never once mentioned 16-0. To me, it's a miracle that it's even possible. It's so hard to do. But we are here. We're more focused on what happened last year, like in terms of we were up 2-0 and we came here and the series shifted. That's the important lesson, not any historical benchmarks or anything like that." Right, and that's exactly what I mentioned a little bit earlier, man. The thing is these guys have that as kind of like, in the back of their head. That's something that's going to, help these guys stay focused, is the fact that they were in the same position last year and lost, and lost the damn series, lost 3 games in a row to lose the damn series. So now they got that in the back of their mind, man, and they added Kevin Durant. It's just a real tough thing right now for the Cleveland. So game tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time on ABC. Warriors-Cavs game 3. What are your thoughts, man? Let me jump in the chat room on Spreaker.com and get some of your reaction. Don't forget, today we also are asking you trivia questions. If you want a trivia question, call the show at 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's see who we got here. My man Sidney Jackson in the chat room on Spreaker.com. He says, if it's sissy ball like in Oakland, then Golden State wins. If the refs let them play a physical game, then the Cavs got a chance. I agree with that. I mean, if you let Golden State just run up and down the court and be free-flowing, I mean, it's very hard to stop because of the obvious reason. They got so many great players. In a nutshell, they got so many guys that can pull up and shoot a three-pointer. They got guys that can penetrate, get to the basket. They can do it all. But, yeah, if you play rough with a man and knock a couple of these cats in their ass, old-school basketball style, yeah, I think that lends well to the Cleveland Cavaliers in winning game 3 tonight. Jam, Oprah can get it in the chat room on Spreaker.com. He says, I think Cavs win game 3, but this will be a 5-game series. Vegas will intervene. Damn. From Clay Nicky Free Davis. It all depends on the first few minutes and how the refs dictate the game. So a couple of y'all are talking about the refs having a big part in this game tonight, which I could see. I could see very easily from the Big African. Good morning, Big African. He says, I don't understand today's discussion. Why talk about a game that hasn't started yet? Because that's what we do. We preview fucking games. Oh, my gosh. And I said that I was going to stop cussing, man. I said I was going to stop cussing. I've done a lot better with the cussing over the last couple of weeks. What do you mean, why talk about the game before the game happens? That's called a preview. Can we discuss? I don't even know what the hell he's saying. Next message. Let's move on from that. John Fisher, Microwave X-Squad says Golden State Warriors had 4 turnovers in game 1 and won by 20. Then they had 20 turnovers in game 2 and still won by 20. Wouldn't be surprised if they won tonight. Fantastic fact, John Fisher. Shit. these ninjas, very well put. Great little stat, little tidbit in talking about the game tonight. Golden State had 4 turnovers a game, won by 20. They had 20 turnovers a game, too, and won by 20. I think they actually won by 19, but you're just rounding it up. I know what you're saying. They won by 20 points and had 20 turnovers. How can that be? That doesn't seem like that could even be possible, but such is the case. 20 turnovers, and they still win by 19 points. From Miss Mocabella, the big African, why are you in the chat? Don't you have an African sports show to listen to on Spreaker or soccer or something like that, bro? Redland, no fried eggs for me in the chat room on Spreaker.com. Says, Doug, be careful talking negative about Dwight Howard. I'm not going to talk negative. Dwight Howard said it. I mean, what this man said, I almost want to get to it right now. The words that came out of this man's mouth are so insane. I can't wait to talk to you about what Dwight Howard had to say. Stay tuned for that. That's coming up here in a second. James, the big truck driver, I saw a stat on Dwight from behind the arc, 5 for 59. I think you're actually being kind of nice about that stat. I don't want you to spoil it. I don't want you to spoil it. I'm going to get to that here in a second. Let's see. From Angry Black Man, he says, microwave, 20 turnovers on the road will be disaster. Now, listen, don't get it twisted. I do believe in the psychology of sports, and I really do believe in home court, home field advantage. And just the whole feel of the game kind of changes when you got a crowd rooting for you and you got a crowd cheering against you. I do believe in that. So home court is big. They're back in Cleveland, but just like the stat that John Fisher gave out earlier, I don't even think it's going to matter. I mean, these guys, in all relative terms, man, should have lost game 2. And Cleveland actually came out good, looking good in that game. LeBron balled out of control, obviously. I mean, they looked good in spots, but it didn't matter. Golden State has this real nasty knack for getting on these runs where they come down and Steph will hit 2 or 3 3-pointers in a row. I mean, and don't even, look at it drop. Just turn around and just go back the other way. And then you got Kevin Durant. You got all of these guys. And the big thing is, man, at one point or another, a guy might get cold. He might be cold from shooting. But there's 3 other guys that they have the ability to go to that might just be hot as fish grease. And so, I don't know, man. I don't know. And from J-Fish Microwave, exactly, ABM, if they protect the ball, they can win on the road. From That Ninja, good morning, That Ninja. He says, I think the better question is, why is the media nitpicking at Dwight Howard and ignoring the colonizer dirt? What? You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. If you didn't know it, we have several. What I found out over the years of doing this show, we've been doing this show now about 2.5 years. Okay, we've been doing the Doug Stewart Show for a good time period here. And I'm finding out that there are a lot of Dwight Howard fans that still think Dwight Howard is 17-year-old Dwight Howard coming out of high school. But such is not the case. Dwight Howard has been in this league a long, long time. I'm not going to even get back into our history and with each other or whatever. That's unimportant here. But since y'all talked about it a lot and we got the Dwight Howard fans in the chat room, if you haven't heard, Dwight Howard says that he will be working on his shot this summer. What do you mean working on his shot? He should have been working on his shot, low post moves, working out with Kevin McHale, working out with Elijah Wan. He should have been working on his shot all the damn time. What do you mean he's going to start working on his shot this year? No. This ninja said he's going to work out on his 3-point shot making ability this summer. Let me just let you hear it. Quote from Dwight Howard. I've been working on